watched it, and how do you feel now?
Yeah, I mean, penalties killed us in the football game. And then pretty much kind of what I thought. The tags, we were struggling with what they were doing. That was good stuff, like I said. Uh, we don't see much of that stuff, obviously, versus our defense, so it was different. And I'm excited to go clean it up. You know, that's the best part about this week is we're just going to practice craziness. Because we faced 3 down, we faced 4 down all camp. It's just a good learning experience for me to help our guys more. We need to have a couple days in camp where we practice versus the schemes that are a little bit, unconventional and a little bit crazy by nature. Not unsound; they're very sound, but just crazy. Chaos is their middle name. So we're going to work on chaos a lot this week and get better at chaos.
What about Ben Coleman, his operation at center, and his status, and anybody else that might not play this week?
Yeah, good snaps pretty much all night. I mean, there wasn't really a snap that was catastrophic to a play, so that's good for his first start. I mean, I felt bad for him. He's played 6 years of college football, and it's like the first time he gets to make mic points and play center. It's for something we've really never shown him, so it was like we kind of threw him to the wolves there. So we got to do a better job, like I said, preparing guys throughout fall camp for that type of stuff. He's good to go, no issue there. I mean, Watley, we're getting him looked at. Usually at this meeting, I don't really know for sure what's happening. Obviously, Watley went, to get looked at, so we'll see his availability. I should know by the end of the day tomorrow. So, but yeah, nothing other than that really showed up in the game that could linger up to now. Now, sometimes things show up on, Monday. Guys wake up Sunday, they feel bad, and then Monday happens and they feel worse on something. But nothing like that yet.
Blake Even, Fox News. Kenny, with your previous coaching experience in the SEC, I guess how would you describe the culture around college football down there and the hostile environment you guys maybe put up against this?
Cowbells, baby. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fun. I mean, they love their football down there. I think we showed that we love our football here yesterday or Saturday, or whatever day it is. They all roll together. I think we showed that we love our football. I mean, I think it was like 105, 106% capacity is what I just saw. I don't know if it's true, but it was on the internet, right? So I want to say it. But I just showed that, this place loves football too. But down there, they definitely, they'll be there at 9 a.m. for a 6:30 kick, and they'll be getting ready to roll. It'll be their first home game of the year. So I'm excited. I mean, the football down there is really good.
Hi, Kenny Rubino, Devil's Digest. I know that when you look back at the film, it's probably like could have, should have. You talk about battling chaos on defense, and I know ultimately you have to do what the defense gives you. But do you think running the ball, and not that you didn't run it well, running over 200 yards, maybe was more warranted just to battle that chaos, battle those inside areas?
Yeah, I told Coach Arroyo I wanted to throw the ball around a little bit in the football game. Like that was our kind of plan going in. I wanted to try to, which we did early. We threw it around, and then there were times where we threw it around. We had some big throws that were called back. I mean, if you add those 2 penalties, there's another 140 yards of passing, and I think the narrative is, can you believe Sam set the record in his career for 420 passing yards, right? That's the best part about football is, like, one guy on one play, one moment can kind of take away from a whole positive. So we were trying to, be aggressive in the football game. So part of that's on me, just, what I wanted to do going into the game. But yes, 100%, we faced that same problem at Texas State. When we faced the chaos, we've got to be able to run into chaos and not away from it. So I agree with you 100% there.
Greg in the back, then Dave.
Coach, back here. Hey,
Hello.
Mississippi State obviously beat Southern Mississippi. They gained almost 500 yards of offense, almost 200 yards rushing on the ground. Is this a different team this year than they were a year ago?
Yeah, 100%. They've added over 30 transfers. They've added 8 junior college players. So around 40 veterans to their football team. When you add 40 vets, that's not including the high school class they signed. So this team is really 65, 70% new from last year's team. So a lot of new faces. They're playing hard. You can see Coach Levy and his identity is starting to show up, and the passion he has for the game is starting to show up. So, completely different football team. There are still some guys that are returning for them that were good football players last year that are returning again. But there's a lot of new guys.
Damon and Matt.
Hey, Kenny, Damon Allred, Arizona Sports. I know with wide receiver playing time, a lot of it comes down to run blocking and knowing the playbook. Was it one of those or something else for why Jordyn Hamilton didn't play?
Yeah, I mean, we just going into the game, we had a game plan in terms of how we wanted to attack and do things, and he didn't play as much as we probably planned on him playing. We had obviously we had Jalen. I forgot to mention Jalen went down. We're still seeing what his status was, but he was taken out for the game. So that kind of threw a little bit of a curveball in that plan because they're a little bit different players. So then it was okay. Now our substitution patterns are off in that grouping for some of Jaren's plays potentially. So it was just the flow of the game. Wasn't by nature. It was just probably got to try to use him more if the situation is necessary and if we feel like he's ready enough to play.
And then quick follow, was Max good too?
We're still monitoring that. Like I said, we get a lot of our intel. Like Sunday's our off day, so Monday we come in and this is a fairly early meeting and they get checked out. They get checked out Sunday, but again on Monday depending on the injury. So I don't know. I don't get the results back until tonight, which is when we finalize our game plan. So before we finalize our game plan, I get who is high probability, low probability. So I don't quite have that in these meetings.
Max.
Hey, Kenny, Max Bail with Sparkhead Sports Network. You mentioned exactly a year ago in this room how you felt about Blake Shapen and his style of play, and you complimented a lot leading into that game, and then your defensive line attacked him hard, very aggressively in that game a year ago. Are you approaching him and his gameplay the same way even a year later, or are you approaching him differently, considering he's more evolved? And where do you feel like he is now?
Yeah, well, he's year 2 in the system, so he's more comfortable in the system. You can see his comfort in the system. Their whole, they're just year 2 in the system. So they're just a little bit further ahead than they were last year. You can see it. They're more comfortable than they were last year off week 1's game. So I don't know if you can ever do the same thing twice to a good player. I think if we line up and we try to just copy paste and say, oh, the game plan in the first half worked last year, let's do it again. I think that's a recipe, to not feel good.
And then quick follow-up from that. You prepared the team for the environment of potentially humidity last week with the humidifiers inside the dome. Is that going to be a week-to-week thing, you feel like, with this team, preparing them for each different kind of environment, especially with what you mentioned with the cowbells?
We'll definitely prepare for environments. We'll have the cowbells rocking for practice and stuff like that. We won't mix humidity in just from the dehydration effects. Like, we don't want to distract by making the practices worse. At the end of the day, we got to get better. We have to be a better football team. We have to coach better. We have to get our guys to execute better. So this is the full focus is on us, regardless of who we play. Same thing I said before NAU, same thing I said before Mississippi State. Like, we met today. We saw the errors. I showed them my errors, right? Showed them our errors as a whole group, and then it's like, okay, this is what we have to do to fix it, and let's go fix it and go play a football game.
Ryan, Justin, and Luke.
Hey, Coach. Ryan Myers, Devil's Digest. You guys used that fake punt early in the game with Tyson, and then also had a couple of interesting special teams moments as well for you guys. What do you make of the positives and negatives you took away from week 1 on that particular part of the game?
Yeah, the special teams was explosive. They had one explosive play versus us. To be honest, they had a really good scheme. You got to give credit to that. The way we've never had somebody double our field 5. They doubled our field 5. That guy's never gotten reps versus a double because most teams don't do it. They showed field return as their complementary return, and they showed field and gave middle with a double 5. So you got to give them credit too. In a week 1, they had a good plan and they popped it. We'll be ready for it now that we've seen it. Our guys have seen it live. Our guys will be ready, if another team tries, the fake field middle return. So it was good. They had a good plan. Other than that, our special teams played really well. I called backed up punt on the -5, which is an absolute MA by me. We shouldn't be in backed up punt, and they get an extra, 20 yards probably off the return because I called backed up, not a regular punt. The next time we get in that scenario, we call regular punt and he booms at 60 yards. So I probably cost our team about 35 yards just off that one call alone. But other than that, our explosiveness on special was huge. We flipped the field a few times. Fake punt, that was good. We blocked a punt. In an aggressive look, a 6-2 look. So I thought there was a lot of positives on our specials, other than my one MA and then the one time that they got us in terms of they had a good plan.
On a follow-up to that, how does week one kind of allow you guys to get more comfortable as coaching staff as well in your scheme and how you guys are kind of going into the season?
Yeah, well, I think every team is different. Even when you have a lot of returners, every team is different. Like on the field, some people can handle more on game day than others, right? As a team, like some people can take change and say, hey, this is different, and they can adapt. Some people are really good if they master something versus everything, and they're going to be better than the opponent, right? So I think when you're early in the season, you're trying to learn what is this team best at. I absolutely hate early season games. They're like, I think I said that before NAU, like I just never, it's so hard because you as a coach don't feel like you can prepare your players as good early in the season as you can later in the season. Right? You just don't know. There's so many unknowns that it's more difficult to prepare because there's unknowns. So I hate early season games. I like once you get into the meat and potatoes of the season. So this is my least favorite time. I chase ghosts, watch everything on the planet. It's not my. And then teams do something they've never shown on tape, and it's exciting to adjust on the fly.
Justin. Hey, Coach. Justin Lesson, Coach of Doubles Digest. Where have you seen Keith Abney grow the most from the day you brought him in until now, and what does he currently provide to the league?
Yeah, he's about 20 pounds heavier. So, like, physically, he grew. I mean, I think that's the most. He's always been a hard worker. He's always been intelligent. He's always been savvy. I think he physically just got his body, bigger. And then, obviously, the more reps you get, the more you recognize things, right? So, he definitely recognizes, offensive formations and stuff like that to give him tips on how to align better. But I would just say overall size, speed, athleticism, he's really elevated that part of his game.
Coach Luke Lemler, Sun Devil Source. Last year, one of the lasting images of the victory over Mississippi State was Scatterboat, arms crossed, leaving it all in the field, 260 rush yards later. This year, going on the road, no longer Cam is there. What have you seen from your guys in camp and week one to think that kind of effort and that dog mentality won't be lost in a tough environment?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we got to show it in practice. We got to practice with it. And then we have to be able to go play with that level of intensity. At the end of the day, like how bad you want something matters. And, what you pour into your cup is what you're going to pour out. And if you think that you can pour something special into your cup and it's going to magically create more water for you to drink, you're absolutely wrong. What you put in is what you're going to get out. And I think that was a really good, like I said, we've had a little bit lighter camp. Anybody who's been in our practices has seen it. It's not quite as intense. So our first game for us like that isn't absolutely shocking to me because part of that, like I said, is my fault because I lightened camp, because we have a lot of vets. So getting a game like that, hopefully out of the way, surviving a good team that was chaotic and had a lot of good schemes, and hopefully we get to learn from that game and get back to that passion because that's definitely was a key.
Jacob, Andrew, Dave.
Hey Kenny, Jacob Brooks, Sun Devil Source. You talked about the exotic defenses that you guys faced against NAU. Sam Leavitt was asked after the game the greatest performance. He said it was like a B or a C. What do you think seeing a defense like that early in the season does for him as he progresses throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, other than one play, he had a really good game, and I think he would say opposite. He was like, "I played horrible." Like, no, you didn't. But that's the standard, and that's what you want, right? But other than that one play that you like to have back, I mean, I thought he played well. I think seeing things that you're not used to, I thought he handled it well, to be honest. Other than that, like I said, the one play at the end of the game, he played really, really good football, even with guys in his face at times that shouldn't have been in his face. So I thought he played good. I thought he handled it well. Sam's pretty good at adapting on game day. I think that's one of his biggest strengths is adapting on game day.
Andrew, Damon, and Michael.
Hi, Coach. Andrew Hazlett, Devils in Detail. You talked about last week communication was going to be important. How is that going to still be important against Mississippi State this Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, they play so fast that if you can't get lined up, you're screwed. Like, you better get lined up, get the call, understand who's carrying the verticals, understand who's in the run fit, how you're fitting the run. Like, and if you don't, they're going to get on a roll and take advantage of you because they're not going to let you, they're not going to give you a time to catch your breath. They're going to keep pushing the pedal to the metal. So we've got to be able to get aligned on defense. We've got to be able to get on the same page. And if you have one MA, they're going to score a touchdown. So they operate. So you cannot beat yourselves. And I think that's the communication piece.
Amen, Michael. Kevin?
Just curious how what you made of the dynamic between Kyson and Raleigh playing off each other. I know Kanye got in there a little bit as well too, but for Kyson and Raleigh to have that performance, especially for Kyson going into a hometown game.
Yeah, I think both of them played really well. I think Kanye, when he got a few of his moments, played well. I think we're gonna try to get those three guys and continue to get them involved in the game plan because I thought they did play really well. All three of them. There's a few times, bouncing runs or not, but for the most part, they ran hard. They ran through tackles, positive runs. Like I said, probably should have run more direct runs in the game plan to just get downhill, more of an identity. And the same thing happened in Texas State last year. We kind of lost our way a little bit with not being direct. I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to be our identity is downhill running the football. So we got to make sure we can establish that.
Michael, Kevin, Doug.
Coach Michael Harris, Pitch Fork Lunch. It's not obviously about the communication, but in game, after going back and watching the film, how do you feel that on the field, offense, defense, where they were talking to each other, adjusting in the game, or communication was?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, there's one thing about communicating, another thing communicating correctly, right? So I thought our communication was good. I thought we were just at times not communicating correctly because, the variety of things we were seeing that, like I said, I didn't do a good enough job getting our guys ready for it. You can't expect people to make like 7 adjustments in the same game. I mean, if you're making 7 adjustments, you didn't do a good job as coach. So that's where I start. I'm like, if I'm telling guys like, if he's here, do this. If he's here, do that. I'm like, well, that's on us, right? And it's a compliment to them. So I think that's where, for us, we just have to practice in some more chaos. It's not like I said, not a big deal. Same thing happened to us week 3 last year. Then we came out in week 4, and I don't know who we played, but we probably scored a lot. Was that Kansas, right? So there you go. That was a quick poll, I think. I think I'm right. And we scored a lot. So I think it wasn't Kansas. No.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech was after Texas State. Yeah, see, that wasn't good, so we didn't get it fixed. I was thinking the next home game. Yeah, that wasn't good either. Hopefully we don't do that.
Kevin, Doug, Blake.
Hey, Coach. Kevin Hicks, ASU on SI. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Big 12 went 8-0 this weekend with an average margin of victory of about 40 points. I believe first time a conference has done that in 60 years, if I read that right. How much do you and the team embrace playing in a conference with such a high level of competition relative, especially to what people around the nation believe?
Yeah, I mean, we play in a good conference. It's competitive. Everybody's right around. It's just ultra competitive. I mean, it's the best way to put it is every game could go either way. And not every place I've been at has it been that way. You know the games you're probably going to win and you circle them. This is definitely a league that you cannot X or check in a game preseason. Every conference game is just open. And that's what makes the league fun. It makes it horrible and fun and exciting and horrible and fun and exciting and just repeat because anything can happen on any game the Big 12 plays.
Doug Franz, Unplugged podcast. You mentioned the follow-up on Mississippi State speed, snap to snap. What do you do in practice to anything special?
Yeah, we'll do 2 huddles. So we'll line up 2 different huddles, and one huddle will run a play, and then the next huddle will run a play, and our defense got to get aligned. Because we can't play at that tempo. That's something that you have to be, you have to be all in on playing at that tempo to be able to play at that tempo. So we just use 2 different teams to play at that tempo, right? Because if we tried to play at that tempo, everybody would go different ways, right? Because that's not what we do, and that's one of the advantages they create you have to defend something that you're not used to practicing, and force that communication, force your guys being on the same page, and then they have good schemes to pair with it. but all they need is for you to misfit one thing, miscommunicate one thing, and you just gave them a free touchdown. They didn't even have to earn it. So they get a lot of free plays by teams misaligning, not even the ones they have to work for. Then they have to work for their other plays, but they also get free plays if you don't communicate right. So that's why that's such a big thing this week.
Blake and then Doug has that right.
Kenny, ASU volleyball defeated the defending national champs yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, but back you and JJ Vanille, I don't know your guys' relationship, but how would you kind of describe how you guys know one another and what you kind of deal with that from?
Yeah, JJ's a buddy. You know, we talk in the off season. We got together and just talked how we ran our programs. He does a phenomenal job. When you look at, you know, that what he's accomplished in his time here up until yesterday, and what he accomplished yesterday is really remarkable. I don't think he gets enough talk, enough pub. I think everybody should want him to. I mean, everywhere that people ask me to speak, I think he should be the person speaking right next to me. Everywhere that Graham goes to speak, I think he's the type of guy that can speak right next to him because he's earned that right. Like, he's a guy who, you know, what he's done for that program is really, really impressive.
Good. And then the last two questions will be Cam and Field.
Coach, now Rosenberg State Press. How does this wide receiver room differ from the one last year, and what can we expect from guys not named Jordyn Tyson going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we had a big play by Malik. He would have ended up having 3 catches for about 80. And I think that question would be completely different, you know, if there wasn't a penalty. And I think that's the best part about football is, you know, narratives get spilt. And I think the key for our football team is who cares about what the narrative is, right? I think the wide receiver room is in a really good place. I think multiple guys can make plays. I think when given those opportunities, they made plays. I mean, there was a couple times where they didn't. But at the same time, when you have Jordyn Tyson, if a team's not going to do something to drastically take him away, wouldn't you be a fool to not throw him the ball? Like, I think there's a balance there too of let's not outkid ourselves, right? If you have a really good player who's by himself, okay, let's get everybody involved, but they're still leaving him by himself. Like, that's part of the negative of being chaotic is it's harder to double, right? So if we could have, you know, managed the front better, right, then he could have gone for 2-something. We just couldn't manage that with all the chaos. So I think for us moving forward, it's just taking what the defense gives us, and we have a lot of confidence in our wideouts that if a team chooses to double JT and remove that we can run the ball and throw the ball to other people. That doesn't concern me one iota.
Cam and Jordan.
Kenny, what did you make of Coop's interception at the end of the game the other day? How just cool was that moment for him?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, it looked like he was jumping on the couch, like, you know what I mean? Elbows all wide. He didn't even have his elbows tight. He still caught it. That's what he said. I told him that in the team meeting. I'm like, man, can you tighten your elbows to catch it? He goes, did they review it? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, it was still confirmed, wasn't it? I'm like, all right, old man, you got it. You got that one. So it's just awesome to have a play like that. Albert Smith with a tip ball. You know, there were a lot of positives in the game too, and that was one of them. I mean, I think we tipped 4 balls in the football game. That's good football. That's good D-line play is tipping balls. Our third down defense was incredible on 3rd and 3+. Our 3rd and short defense was not good, but our 3rd and 3+ defense was probably statistically the best that we could have had since we've been here. So there were some positives too in the football game. Our explosive play rate, you look at how explosive we were on offense. I think we averaged like 7.5 or 6 yards per play. Like, that should not equal the result we got. 7.6 yards per play, if you just stay out of your way, is a top 15 offense in the country. So there were so many positives that get pulled from the game, and that was kind of what, you know, the message of the team was. We can make it what we want to make it. And to the staff, we got to get out of the way of the players, let the players play. You guys go play and stay out of our own way, and all is good because we got a really, really talented football team. I love our football team. I think we're as good as we want to be. And I think that's the best thing. You know, when you play a game like this and somebody lines up and runs duo at you and possesses the ball for 36 minutes and you're like, dang, we're in trouble, right? But when you play a game like that and they had some really good schemes, they did a really good job. They got us as a staff more than they actually got our players. You say, okay, guys, we got to step back. We got to let you guys take over from here on out. So I think for us, that game, even though it didn't go as smoothly as we wanted, I really think it just shows what we have to be as a staff with these guys. And then it shows me that even when we don't play well, and that's a good football team, like the game was, we never felt like the game was actually at risk in the football game. It never slipped between a one possession game. And there were games last year, Oregon, Idaho, one possession game in the fourth quarter, and then Oregon runs the table. Notre Dame last year, right? So you can either grow from these and attack it and learn, or you can panic and everybody thinks we're not good enough and change everything. It's not about changing. It's about solidifying what you want to be good at and doubling down.
Question, Jordan.
Hey, Kenny, Jordyn Ham.
Wow, tired?
Jordyn Ham, Sports 360. How has this staff's approach to road games evolved over the years, and like the logistics behind it? What are some of the things that maybe the casual fan doesn't even think about the behind the scenes?
So interesting is now that we play in a lot smaller towns, we play further away from stadiums, our road games. So we stay about an hour and 15 minutes away from the stadium this week because that's the nearest hotel that's not a casino to stay at. No, it's the truth. That's some teams stay at the casino. That wasn't even a joke. But it's just the nearest hotel. And then you talk, some guys are finicky eaters. So it's like some guys at these hotels, they don't like the food. It's not good. So now we get like sandwiches on the side. Texas Tech we played last year, and our guys got sick the day of the game. We had about 10 guys that stomachs, they were getting IVs because their stomachs were sick from the food. I've never even said that, but it's just you're learning and growing along the way. So now it's like, okay, we need the food we get, and then if a player who's a finicky eater, we also need like a sub sandwich or a hamburger or something that they're comfortable with because you're gone, the pregame meal and then the night meal if they don't go that amount of time with a good meal. So that's something that I learned, when you're going to like Seattle, right? The food, their food's unbelievable, but some of the smaller towns, it's harder to, feed 160 guys. So we're just trying to attack. Thank you.